Every cruiser can see that cruise fares have been rising scarily fast, and cruise lines are telling Wall Street investors that they expect fares to keep rising well over inflation because demand for cruising is so high. But despite that, I found ways of paying less than most people on every one of the 12 upcoming trips that I've got booked. Welcome aboard. I'm Gary Bembridge, and I'm going to show you how I and other smart cruisers cruise for less than other people do in this time of rising fares. First, I try and book when lines launch new itineraries. When cruise lines launch new itineraries, you're going to get the best prices for any cruise because fares move up from launch prices due to dynamic pricing. Lines use lower fares at launch to get us to commit, and then as the ship fills up, fares are programmed to keep shifting upwards. Before the pandemic, when ships were sailing less full, you could sometimes find last-minute deals that came close to or beat those launch prices. But these days, this is rare, although I will share some late booking tactics that can work in a different way later. I really like that when cruise lines launch new itineraries, in addition to having the lower fares, they often have offers like getting a grade higher for the price of a lower grade and bonus extras. For example, at launch, I booked a bucket list 31-night South American circumnavigation on Holland America for 18 months' time. I got a great fare, but also the launch deal included the Have It All add-on covering drinks, Wi-Fi gratuities, and some excursion and specialty dining credits. This was worth over $2,000, that's about £1,700, that other people are going to have to pay when they book this later. I also booked a 25-night Regent 7 Seas Navigator West Africa trip at launch because they not only offered a great hire special, so I got a concierge cabin, which has way more perks for the price of a balcony cabin, but they threw in a 3-night post-stay in Cape Town visiting sites and safari parks. I'd have been charged for that if I'd booked after the launch period. The next tool I use a lot are promotions. Now, while this might sound really obvious, there's some important things I've discovered you must focus on and be aware of if you're looking at using promotions. First of all, I ensure I'm ready to take advantage of promotions. I keep a list of all the places, the cruise lines and ships I'm interested in, but I hold off booking until any of those actually go on offer. Most cruisers tend to focus on the much publicized Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and the New Year wave season promotions, when all cruise lines are promoting and fighting to get bookings, because this is a huge booking time. A big percentage of bookings happen in these times. I don't, though, because I'm not sure from what I've seen and looked at that those deals are as deep and promising as they make out, especially compared to the ones I've found in the more ad hoc promotions run during the year. I see much better and deeper deals. The deals seem to be way better because they seem to run them when the lines are trying to hit, say, sales targets at the end of a quarter or the end of the year, or they need to fill up certain sailings with capacity. These ad hoc deals usually run for short periods of time, perhaps over a weekend, so you need to be on the ball to catch them. So how on earth do I do this? 2 ways. First, I'm signed up for email newsletters for every cruise line I'm interested in, as this is what they use to announce promotions. Second, I keep an eye on social media, mostly Instagram and Facebook, because they run them there too. As a tip, make sure you follow the various cruise line accounts on social media and interact with various cruise posts on those sites, because then the advertising will target you as the algorithms know you're interested in cruising. Over the years, I've kept email folders to track cruise line promotions, and here's what I've found are the best ones to look out for and the ones that I use. These days, flash sales have great deals with deep discounts, bonus add-ons, upgrades, or extra onboard credit. I recently used one when booking a Crystal Cruises Asia trip to review this newly launched line from Japan to Manila. I could get a better cabin than the entry-level one I could afford by using their limited time upgrade promotion. Another trending promotion is driven by lines seeing more families and people sharing cabins, so the offers have the second, third or fourth person sharing a cabin free or at a huge discount. So I use this promotion to make some incredible savings versus what other people will be paying that missed the promotion. So for example, I used one of those promotions when it broke to book a 16-night Celebrity Silhouette Canada, Greenland and Iceland trip that I really wanted to do. It was on my list. I saved a fortune because the second person had 75% off the fare. We saved almost $6,000, £5,000, versus if we'd booked without waiting for that promotion. As a frequent solo traveler, promotions are an important way to cruise for less, and although not that frequent, I rely on these promotions. The reason I was actually able to cruise the Kimberley in Australia was Seabourn ran a 20% solo supplement deal on selected sailings via one of their email newsletters, so I jumped on that. There are other promotions that may appeal to you, but do less to me, like the advanced full payment discounts, added discounts for loyalty travelers, and so on. I have some rather unusual tips that people just don't think or know about that I'm really excited to share. But before I get to that, here's one that I get asked about most often. I personally use this trick less often, but it does work. And this is around booking a future cruise on board, as a line will usually offer an added discount available only on board. For example, I was on Silver Endeavour in Antarctica recently, and they were offering a 10% discount if booking any other Silver Sea cruise. This was on top of any other promotions or discounts available at the time, like the 5% I get from being a repeat cruiser. I only book on board if I already have plans to cruise on a particular line. Now in this case, knowing I was going on Silver Sea, and I really wanted to do a repositioning cruise that I'd seen from Alaska to Japan on Silver Nova in 20 months time, because I want to try the new ship, I held off booking and I booked it once I was on the ship. So I got a 15% discount, 15%, and not just the 5% if I'd booked it before I actually boarded that cruise. Now let me move on to some of the more unexpected and unusual ways I find I can cruise for less than other people on the same ship as me. The first of these is going on a group cruise or a bundled cruise. Here is a group cruise example really close to home. I'm hosting my next group cruise in 2026, which is a 15-night Honda America Zaidam Panama Canal cruise. I negotiated and locked in group fares just as that cruise was launched to get those launch prices. I have seen the fares for that cruise now rise significantly. I noted by how much when my sister decided recently she wanted to come on the group cruise. We had a look online and my group rate was almost 30% less than the going rates right now. So she's coming on the group at the group rate, knowing she's paying way less than many people on board in the same cabin grade will be. Group packages are also a useful way to find late deals. If a specific sailing is not full, occasionally the cruise lines will offer group rates to clear a block of cabins to travel agents that create and sell packages bundled with flights, hotels, and transfers. These then disguise any discounted cabin fares from us passengers, as there's no direct comparison of the actual cruise fare possible. Now you'll find these offers mostly via online cruise travel agents or those that take adverts in the weekend papers, because they can clear these at relatively short notice. I personally don't use them because I plan my cruises way ahead and I like to choose my specific cabin, which these usually do not allow me to do. Next is a very underused way to cut your fares by using other people to do it for you. Many cruise lines will give a credit to be applied to current or future bookings if you refer a new traveler to them and they make a booking. And the person who you refer will also usually get a credit, so reducing their fare too. For example, on the Silver Nova cruise I mentioned, I have had $350 cut off the fare as a follower of the channel named me as referring them. They also got $350 off their cruise. On Silver Sea, I can have up to 10 people naming me as a referral and receive a total of $3,500 added discounts. I'm about to head off on a Regent Seven Seas cruise, and they have highlighted their ambassador program, where both myself and the person referring me will get $250 if they complete a form with my loyalty number within 14 days of them doing a booking. So if you ever make a booking based on one of my recommendations, consider naming me as a referrer and we can both benefit. Or of course, if any of your friends or family have been on a line you have not, then name them as referring you. You both benefit. As I mentioned earlier, last minute cruises are less of an opportunity to get lower fares than in the past, but there are a few things that you can and should do if these appeal. Some cruise lines offer last minute options. For example, Honda America have standby fares if you can get to the port at short notice. Silver Sea offer what they call essential fares close to sailings, and others list last minute cruises on their sites, like I noticed Celebrity do, for example. Although it is easier to check online travel agents focusing on last minute cruising than going site by site. Many cruise lines use travel agents to clear unsold cabins rather than advertise last minute discounted fares on their site. Why? Well, it could mean that people who've booked already spot the lower prices on the cruise line site and start hassling them to reduce their higher fare to the low one. By using these agents that clear these last minute cabins, lines can reduce that risk. One that has an active last minute listing is a site that I've mentioned many times before in my videos, which is vacationstogo.com. They have a 90-day ticket page listing up-minute last minute cruises with discounts. If you have a favorite last minute cruise site that has worked for you, please leave that in the comments to help me and fellow travelers know what they are. Of course, one of the key things to do to make sure that you aren't paying more than others on your cruise once you've booked is to do fare tracking. I have an article on my blog at tipsfortravelers.com/fare tracking on what it is and how to effortlessly do it. There is another way to cruise for amazing value, which is to do repositioning cruises, because they can cost half the usual price per day. So join me over in this video to find out more.